All right, so you're thinking about jumping into real estate investing. Good, you're in the right place. Today, we're giving you a serious edge. We're going to dig into the real numbers behind the Howland, Ohio market so you can make a smart, informed move. Let's do this. Okay, so we're zooming right in on one specific area, the 44484 zip code. And let me tell you, this isn't just some random map. Right now, this is basically the battleground for investors. If you want to win here, you have to understand what's happening on a local level. So what's the big picture here? The headline? It is, without a doubt, a seller's market. Now, that sounds simple, right? Sellers have the upper hand. But what does that really mean for you as an investor trying to find a deal? Well, that's what we're about to break down, what you're truly up against. So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about what makes Howland's market so hot right now. Then, we'll decode the key numbers, the data that tells the real story. After that, we'll look at the seller's market dynamics. I'll give you a solid investor's playbook. And finally, we'll connect you with an expert.
All right, first up, Howland's hot market. What's the big picture?
Next, let's decode the key numbers and see what the data is telling us. You know, you don't need to be a data scientist to get this stuff. For Howland, it really just comes down to 4 crucial numbers. And trust me, these 4 numbers, they tell you everything you need to know.
Okay, first number, 1.9 months. Now, 1.9, it might not sound like a huge number, right? But in the world of real estate, this is a giant red flag, or a giant green light, depending on which side you're on. It's called months of inventory, and it's all about supply and demand. So what does months of inventory actually mean? Well, think of it this way. If not a single new house was put up for sale starting today, every single home on the market in Howland would be sold in just under 2 months. That is incredibly fast. A normal, balanced market has about 5 or 6 months of inventory. So at 1.9, yeah, supply is super tight and demand is through the roof.
All right, number 2, 97%. And no, that's not a grade. It's the sold to list price percentage. And this little number tells you exactly who's in the driver's seat during negotiations. What this means is that sellers, on average, are getting 97 cents on the dollar for their final asking price. So for you, the investor, the message couldn't be clearer. Forget about lowball offers. They're just not going to fly here. There's almost no wiggle room at all.
Okay, our third number is all about speed. And I mean speed. 28 days. That's the median number of days a house stays on the market in Howland. Let's dig into what that really means for you. I mean, 28 days is lightning fast. Seriously, you blink and a good property is gone. So as an investor, waiting around is not an option. When something good pops up, you have to be ready to jump on it, like that day. Any hesitation and you've already lost. And that brings us to our last key number, $240,000. That was the median sold price back in January. But honestly, the number itself isn't the most shocking part. It's the trend. What's happening to that number? Check this out. That $240,000 figure, that's a 13% increase in a single month. Let that sink in. Prices aren't just high, they're actively accelerating and fast. If that doesn't scream urgency, I don't know what does. Okay, so we've got the numbers. Low inventory, high prices, fast sales. But what does that actually feel like when you're on the ground trying to make a deal? Let's talk about the real-world dynamics. So you've got this clash, right? On one side, you've got the sellers. They know what's up. They're expecting to get top dollar. They're probably going to see multiple offers, and they can pick and choose the best terms. And then there's you, the investor. You're walking into a situation with stiff competition, almost zero negotiating power, and the pressure to act immediately. It's a tough spot to be in, for sure. So yeah, the market is competitive. It's tough. But listen, that doesn't mean it's impossible. It just means you can't wing it. You need a solid game plan. So here's your playbook for how to succeed. It really comes down to 4 simple steps. Step 1, get pre-approved for your loan. And I mean fully approved, not just pre-qualified. Big difference. Step 2, you have to be ready to act fast, like see a house and make an offer on the same day fast. Step 3, your offer needs to be strong and clean. That means as few what-ifs or contingencies as possible. And step 4, and this one is absolutely crucial, you need to partner with a local expert, someone who knows this market inside and out. You know, that last step is so important. We're giving it its own section because in a market that's moving this fast, the data we've talked about is great, but having someone with real on-the-ground intelligence, that's the whole ballgame. So it all comes down to this, right? When homes are flying off the market in 28 days and prices are jumping 13% in a month, how do you get an advantage? Who can give you that edge?
The answer is pretty simple. A pro. Someone who knows the neighborhoods, the other agents, the whole rhythm of Howland. Someone like Steve Gates, the local realtor who actually gave us the data for this whole breakdown. In a market like this, an expert guide isn't just nice to have, it's a must-have.
Look, if you're serious about investing in Howland, your next move is simple. You need to connect with someone who can actually help you put this playbook into action. So here's Steve's contact info. Give him a call, shoot him an email. Get that conversation started and turn what you've learned today into a real successful investment.